You're listening to the REITE Club podcast, where the focus is all about helping you grow your real estate investment portfolio and live the life you want to live. Come grow with us and join our community at thereiteclub.com. And now your hosts, Sarah Larby and Alfonso Salemi.
A lot of people talk about family is their why, but a lot of people are actually doing a lot of things to get them away from family. So a lot of time I question, is family really your why? Because you're pushing 16 hours now and you don't really see your family. So is that your why? You say, yeah, 10 years down the road, I'm going to spend time with them, but they're growing up. And that's the key time, right? So that's why I ask myself, it's, maybe when I have kids, I'm going to take a hit of first 1 to 3 years. I'm not going to grow as fast, but it's okay because I grow really fast up to that point. I'm okay of stabilizing for that 3 years, take a sabbatical or something, right? So that's my viewpoint on it.
No, fantastic. And, and to your point, right. And we, everybody talks these days, and, retirement, or I want to, quit the 9 to 5 or fire myself. There's all the different lingo around it. Right. But I think it really comes down to is that freedom, right? Is sometimes, I always say I quit my 40-hour a week job so I could work 60 hours, but then I get to pick those 60 hours or 80 hours, depending on the week, or driving around and being tired and putting in that effort. But I think there has to be a shift of more enjoying it along the way. Now, if you are young, and this is, I'm quoting Gary Vee here, right? I think he's very inspirational, but when the younger you are, the more time you have to make mistakes and recover, right? So if you're, 60, 70, 80 years old, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to go and burn the ship and try. Well, hold on. Now you've established a lifestyle. You need to certain type of living, those types of things. But if you're in your early 20s and you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to try, the best part is you can go and make a mistake and fail, and then you can start again. Right. Like, and again, and again, and again. This is from Gary Vee, Vaynerchuk. If you guys haven't heard of him, awesome podcast and entertainment that he has. So, and he's also talks about the multiple streams of income, different businesses, treating your life like a business, as well as the businesses that you're working within, right? How you spend your time and what you're doing. So like you said, you spend a few hours with your VIP clients, you're doing your own trading, you're analyzing and, trying to achieve your goals of those 2 apartment buildings per day. But someone that is in that full-time job, and you said you'll find that extra time, how did you do it? Was it in the mornings, people waking up at 5, the 5 a.m. club? Was it late nights? Was it both? How did you balance? Because, when you were working at the factory, right, because you were engineering and all that, those are long hours there as well. So how did you find that extra time and motivate yourself to put in that work?
So I never share this on any podcast, but the truth to be told is I actually found ways to be very effective at my full-time job. As in, yes, I put in a lot of hours, but a lot of time is I'm that laziest person because I don't have that pay by hour mentality. Everyone's paid by hour there. So the more time you put in, more things you get paid. But I'm there to plan a lot of things. I plan out well. And a lot of time I'm supervising things. I know I kind of be very proactive at it. So a lot of time I already plan it out. I look very busy, but technically my brain or my computer could be planning something else, if you know what I mean. Now, I couldn't say that when I had a job, but imagine if 10 hours of the day and you can actually just spend 3 or 4 hours and you do a better job than other people and you don't just waste time chit-chatting and all that. I look very busy. Yes, I was busy, but not necessarily all on the job. But my performance looks really good because people were like amazing. Oh, Cody, yeah, you work a lot, so that's why you get all those results. Well, yeah, if you look at it from that standpoint, but it's how can you find a lazy way to achieve the same results, but not have that mentality as, yeah, we got to talk to this person, talk to that person. A lot of times I make sure I don't get in big trouble, but I do it first. I don't ask for permission. I do it first, then ask for forgiveness. And, most of the time it works out. People might shock them a little bit, but a lot of times they're like, oh, wow, you achieved the results, right? So I hope that helps.
I love that. And I know Francois got a question, but just something that I'm paralleling with in my career when I was working for a big global shipping company. Okay, it's got 3 initials, and they don't sponsor this podcast, so we're not going to say their name on it. But they ship globally across the world, and I was doing sales calls for them so that they would use our shipping services. Clients would use our shipping service, and I had 2 different briefcases. I had my briefcase for my shipping company and I had my briefcase for my real estate business. And I can't
Correct.
tell you how many times I went sometimes in the wrong meetings with the wrong briefcase, confused if I was meeting a realtor or if I was meeting a company, for shipping. But you're right, it was about effectiveness, right? It was about
Yes.
effectiveness. If I was hitting my targets or, in the top 3, top 5 of sales of that month or of that group
Yeah.
for that year, if you did it in an hour or if you did it in 50 hours, it
Yeah.
was about the results, right? And
Yes.
so, maybe people might hear that and be like, oh, he's doing work while he's supposed to be doing other work. And that's not right. No, it's about getting the results. And you were still achieving what you needed to in your job, but you
Yeah.
allowed and created that in your schedule so that now you could build your dreams, right? On the
Correct.
things that was for you. So I love that. I love that. And everybody should do that. And let's start the hashtag. Everybody should have a side hustle, right? Like side hustle that. So go
Yes.
ahead, Francois.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, and we're going back kind of to the multiple streams of income. So it's very smart. How can you earn money while you sleep? That's how the wealthy do it. Yes, I mean your job and all that, but maybe your job is more of a passion thing that you do, a passion project, and your money
Mhm.
comes from elsewhere. And that's what I'm hearing more and more from other investors and high income earners. So this is excellent. I love that you only do about 2 hours of work per day. I
Hey, I
want
didn't
that's
say
my
just two
dream.
hours of work. I say, there's a balance for that. I just try to keep it very effective. I like just to add on to that. Usually, if I book any meeting, even right now, it's only because you guys are right club, so I give exception. Usually, there's no meeting in the morning because morning is my magic hour. That's when I can plug away on the hardest things, whether that's reviewing deals or do very like brainstorming, like set up goals. Only in the afternoon, and I'll set up calls because that's when I'm, a little bit slower after lunch and all that. And at night, I just do lighter stuff, right? So protect your hours too, even though it's kind of hard to do at a full-time job, but I still try to do that. And then I told my boss, like, can we just move the meeting to the afternoon? I still have something to prepare, things like that. And people get used to it, right? So sometimes I look like I'm staring at my computer for 4 hours right at the morning, but I achieve a lot, right? Instead of just turning around and say, hey, how was the hockey game yesterday? Like I have to compromise some, and we will chat about it at lunch, but not now, right? Not just randomly. You kind of have to set those rules for yourself, and people quickly get used to it. So
Absolutely. So I want to dig a little bit deeper here. We're in real estate, Francois. Depending on what day of the week, you made 10 more offers and bought 5 more properties on real estate and things like that. And we're fully involved, and that's what we talk about for a lot. But this is a unique situation. You have a little bit of both, right? The real estate aspect has gotten you to a certain level of success, and now you are doing a little bit of stock trading. And for someone like myself that's not too familiar with it, I've bought in stocks, right? There's different
mhm.
quest trades and all different ways that you can do it. So I'm going to say dabbled at the very very
Yeah,
I'm even dabbled is even overstating it for myself. But for someone that is looking to get into stock trading, you mentioned day trading, it's a big animal. So if we can break it down a little bit of like, let's just from your perspective, the stock trading, and a little bit different of what you're doing in the day trading and the difference between the two, and how wealth is created with either one or both of those, and how we could complement that, like Francois said, multiple streams of income, that how we could complement that with maybe real estate, our own income, our own jobs, things
correct.
like that our audience can apply.
Very great, very good question. And I was a day trader for 2 years, from 2016 to 2018. So go back to Francois's question. From 2016 to 2018, before I quit my full-time job, I was working a lot of overtime at work at night from 5 p.m. to 11. I start work at 7:30, right? So I get off at 4 or 5, whatever. From 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., Monday to Friday, I'm either sitting in front of my computer looking at for a screen, or I'm at the real estate seminar. And that was the compromise I make. And those hours I sit in front of my computer, I was spending 1 to 2 hours preparing for the day trading, because I was trading the Asian market, 12-hour difference. So I could do it. And then I was spending 1 to 2 hours trading, and I was spending 2 to 3 hours writing reports to reflect on exactly what happened in the market, was a part of my strategy, and a little bit of my coaching. I hired a coach that was younger, 2 years younger than me, a girl, a lady, and she was really good. So I hired her because I saw her track record, right? So spent some time coaching there as well. At 11, I try to go to bed and wake up at 6. So that's a bittersweet experience, just put it that way. But without those, I wouldn't come up with all the strategy I'm using now. And I wouldn't be confident enough to say, if you're going to go into day trading, in order to be good, this is what it takes, and it takes years. Okay. But now the strategy I teach is that you can have a full-time job. You can be stay-at-home mom. You can have a lot more flexibility. You just spend 30 minutes. Once you get to know the process, just like real estate is very front-end loading. Once you get that down, a lot of times just 30 minutes per day, sometimes you don't do anything. And the return on that is very, very impressive. That could be the cash flow to sustain your lifestyle, right? And that's what's triggering. That's why I like that. And I know the strategy I'm teaching now, the success rate is a lot higher than day trading. Day trading, yes, it seems glamorous, but actually only 5% of people make money.
Thanks for listening to the REITE Club podcast and joining our community of real estate investors online at thereiteclub.com, where the focus is about helping you grow. We look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks from your hosts, Sarah Larby and Alfonso Salemi.